Tracking the continuation of major travel impacts and very low snow. I'm ABC 10 Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods looking at the big impacts hitting much of Northern California, one of which has been Sierra travel. As you can see, those roads have been hard to clear. It's just been one wave after the next of getting snow, not only for the high country, but moving down in elevation. This is in Camino, kind of the upper levels of the foothills, kind of that in between the Sierra and the foothills. But snow certainly covers the grounds and the trees as well. We still have that avalanche warning in effect. This is expected to continue into our Thursday. Backcountry is pretty much off limits right now. Very high danger with the avalanches capable of burying people. Now, we've already been covering one deadly incident just up to the north of I-80, but this is what the Sierra Avalanche Center has been tracking. They go out to these areas that look very vulnerable with those slabs sliding down the hill, and one of which you can see the ski right here. When that ski came in contact with the snow, look at how there's cracking. That shows slab weakness on the snow coverage that is up there. So they have been monitoring areas nonstop pretty much for the past several days, looking for those vulnerabilities of those slabs to come sliding down the hill, whether it be wind related or human induced. Certainly avalanche danger extremely high right now. All right, on to our wind. I mentioned those could be triggered by wind. We have a wind advisory continuing in the valley through 10 p.m. on Thursday. We're going to see those winds really pick up in pace overnight through early Thursday morning as the last batch of this first storm rolls through. Keep in mind, we're going to be monitoring some active weather here deep in the forecast. So we continue with those winds through the noontime hour. Everything starts to back off heading into our Thursday evening, leading to a drier forecast after that. Now, winter storm warning and winter weather advisory also in place until 10 p.m. on Thursday. So you can kind of start to see the timeline. Things are going to be winding down during the evening tomorrow. Cold batch of air streaming its way in from the Pacific. That's connecting with the moisture plume, keeping us with our weather impact alert through Thursday. The impacts being rain, snow, and thunderstorms, with travel a big concern continuing and low snow. Extra travel time needed and still being advised, stay off the mountain roads. Our Thursday thunderstorm outlook is pretty much all the way through the Central Valley, extending into the capital region, parts of the foothills, and the Bay Area. As again, we make that connection with the cold air, things are going to become more unstable with the atmosphere and have a potential for those thunderstorms. It's that low pressure system that's driving all of this southward here that's going to drop those snow levels once again. Thursday morning, this is what the commute's going to look like. Active weather, gusty winds, snow coming down the hill once again into the lower elevations, roughly down to about 1,000 feet in that 80-50 corridor. And then on the north end of the valley, still looking at some pretty low pockets of snow. Although Chico, Red Bluff, I know it shows snow, but it's going to likely be just a very, very cold rain. Thursday afternoon, we've got spotty showers, but most of the activity for the valley is already winding down. A few scattered snow showers for this year, but that too will wind down pretty quickly, leaving us with a dry Friday. But we only have a couple of days to dry out. Another storm brewing in the Pacific right behind it. As far as total rainfall coming in overnight Wednesday into Thursday, about a ½ an inch more to go, about an inch or so for parts of the foothills. But some of us at those lower elevations, we're going to be tracking a couple flurries mixed in with the precipitation. About another 20 to 25 inches of snow still ahead for the high country. You can see some of these snow totals that we'll be monitoring all the way into our late Friday. About an inch at Shingle Springs, Placerville, about 3 inches possible. Down to Colfax, we get nearly 6 inches of snow. Applegate, possibly about 2 inches. Not much accumulation, though, for places like Auburn. This is on top of what we've already seen since Sunday. We're tracking multiple feet of snow, closing in on about 5 to almost 6 feet of snow for this year. And we've got more to come with this. So we're very likely to meet that 8-foot prediction that we were thinking with this storm system. Here's a look at the rundown so far of just the storm totals. And you can see each day it's really continued to increase in intensity. Yesterday was a big one, delivering about 35 to 45 inches of snow, putting those totals again into kind of that 5 to 7 foot range, 5 to 6 foot range, I should say, of what we have had so far. Rain since Sunday, these have boosted big numbers throughout the valley and the foothills. We needed it. 2+ plus inches of rain for much of the valley, 4 to 5 plus inches of rain throughout the foothills. So our totals are looking pretty good. We had a bit of a dry stretch there December and January after a big start to the water year, October and November. That put us in the plus side for a long time until we got to right around the middle of January into the beginning of February. Then we started to see those deficits grow. We're closing in on an average February with about a half an inch to go of rain and another storm system right behind it. It's very likely we're going to bump up above average. Speaking of precipitation, let's take a look at the statewide situation right now, because of course a long state north to south. We run it from San Diego to Eureka. Was 75% of our water falls north of Sacramento. 75% of the usage is south of Sacramento. So we have to operate in a much different capacity than a lot of states do. As far as our rainfall, though, everything looking really good. That just takes the pressure off of needing that surface water, because storage levels at this point in the year are pretty good, both for above ground and below ground, still trying to pump in some water into our underground storage. Our Sierra snow water equivalent, we've been tracking this. We were hitting some big low numbers. Right, around about a week ago, we had only about 30 to 70% of average throughout the state. Now we're up to about 50 to 94% of average to date. That puts our statewide situation close to about 70% of where we should be this year. But keep in mind, we still have yet to tally the end of this storm system and another one on the way. Reservoirs have, for the most part, even when we hit this dry stretch, still been really in the positive category because of great storage over the past 3 years. So this is a multi-year situation. We don't just mark it with 1 year and say, okay, that's it, that's all we have. We like to continue to monitor that situation, just because it's really a seasonal kind of storage situation for those reservoirs, a much bigger capacity to hold a lot of water. Weather timeline. Let me just give you a hint of what we're expecting here with our weather impact alerts continuing through Thursday. We dry out. We're staying cool Friday and Saturday. Then next week, rain and snow return. The key difference with this one is that the snow level is going to be higher. So we continue to see the low snow and travel delays, thunderstorms, showers through tomorrow for the valley and the Sierra. And then Sunday into next week, we get rain and slick roads returning for the valley. For the Sierra, snow, more travel delays, but our snow level bumps up considerably. This one's going to tap into a little bit of warmth as it starts to make its way out of the Pacific. So it's going to be a wet storm, but one that's really not going to produce those low snow elevations. That is going to put a little bit more pressure on downstream flow, especially with gravity taking some of that water out of the foothills into the valley. But for the next about 24 hours, we're looking at that low snow elevation, and then it comes up slightly with less in the way of accumulation by Thursday evening. Putting into our timeline, putting that into motion here. Rain returns Thursday morning, again low snow, and then everything winds down overnight Thursday into early Friday as we await that next weather system that will start to head our way by the time we get to Sunday. But after that, looks like that storm cycle comes and goes, and then we're in a likely warmer, likely drier scenario, certainly for Southern California, Central California, kind of right in between that near normal phase. Highs for our Thursday will be in the 20s for this year. We are still deep in the pocket of this cold air, 30s for much of the foothills to right around the lower 40s. We're in the 50s across the coast, and we'll take that inland as well, sitting roughly about 5 to almost 10 degrees below average for our afternoon highs. So our regional forecast calls for the return of rain and snow Sunday into Monday. The weather models are actually backing off on the speed of the Sunday storm system coming through, kind of coming and going, trying to make that high pressure ridge perhaps a little bit stronger and boosting that to the north of us. We'll have to watch that. But for right now, we just want to let folks know, hey, get those storm drains cleared out Friday and Saturday. Get the plows out to get the roads cleared, the driveways as well throughout the upper foothills and the Sierra, because another storm is on the way with another weather impact alert going into effect by the end of the weekend.